I want to talk about functioning faith in a dysfunctional world. Functional faith in a dysfunctional world. Never before have we had to deal with such disturbing headlines as we hear nowadays. Never before have we had to deal with such distressing news analysis. Never before have we had to deal with such disappointing predicaments and such dire predictions in America or in the world. Global shortages of water. We hadn't had to hear about that before. Volcano eruptions in Chile that was supposed to have been dormant for about 9,000 years. Never before have we heard about this peace treaty with the Chinese and the Japanese. We haven't had to hear about the hopelessness of Haiti. And while here on our own soil, America has to deal with foreclosures that fuel economic tailspins in America, while other folks spending their money, our dollar does not even match the dollars of other countries. It's pretty disturbing that hunger has moved from just hunger to starvation. It's pretty disturbing that we live in this country, the land of the free, the home of the brave, and yet millions of oil, barrels of oil being lost every day in the Gulf while the water heats up and while hurricane season approaches. And while all of this is going on in the world, church folks are fussing about what color we gonna wear. While all of these problems are going on in other countries, we're concerned about who's sitting in my seat. All of these problems are going on. We are sitting and trying to discuss who's going to be the soloist and who's going to be the president. You understand? Who's going to be the chairman? William Barclay said some pretty interesting words when he said that there are those who are pretty smart, yet they believe that their ideas are better than God's. I call them personally twisted ideological idiots. People who have come up with their own thought process that amounts to absolutely nothing. Our world is dysfunctional. And I'm going to be through, but I want to tell you, not only is the world dysfunctional, but some of your houses are dysfunctional. Uncooperative. Inoperable. Not functioning. Doesn't work. If you're sleeping in one room and your husband in the next, that's dysfunctional. I'm coming on through. Let me take my time, because you see, the Bible says you ought to render due benevolence. Some of y'all read that. Fathers are frustrated. Mothers are missing in action. Uncles are unconcerned, and aunties are aggravating folks. It appears that nobody is concerned about what's important. Then you leave from home and go to work. And you discover that your job is dysfunctional. There are some people who are unhappy, never have anything good to say. You can never do anything right. It's simply because they are dysfunctional. Y'all come on in the house and help me right about here. And most of the time, the people that raise the most hell is the one who got the serenity prayer in their cubicle, or the one who has the Lord prayer posted on their bulletin board. But that's dysfunctional. Killing one another. I ain't gonna bother nobody, but preachers burning down churches and killing their wives, that's dysfunctional. And something is wrong with that kind of situation. Something is wrong with that type of dysfunction. But it's bad to have dysfunction at home, and it's bad to have dysfunction at work. But they have dysfunction in the school system. They're teaching our children to take tests as opposed to educating them on what they need to do to be the best. That's pretty dysfunctional. And then you have a light-complected lady. I don't mean that, you know what I mean. Amen, amen. They come in there and they want to teach our children and tell our children they're 504, they're special ed, just because they can't handle their own children at home. My child is not special ed. He's not 504. He doesn't need accommodations and modifications. He needs a good butt whipping. He needs to be told, sit down, shut up, turn around, and pay attention. But until you learn how to quit being, I better watch my mouth. Dysfunction. Woman want to send my child to the office every day. You need to learn how to control your class. And while I'm in the gumbo, let me mix it real good. You parents just talking about, I don't know what I'm going to do with my child. It ain't no book on raising no child. You shouldn't have had it if you couldn't take care of it. But the book said this is how you handle it. If you spare the rod, then you'll spoil a child. So it means whip the hell out of them so that God can get in them. It's tight, but it's right. And I contend, if you start whipping them more, then the police won't have to whip them. Then I can stay out the courtroom, go and ask somebody to have mercy, whip them and get them in line. My mama is here tonight, and the only time out corner I ever had was the time she took between whipping me, raising the strap and putting it back down on me. That's the only time out I ever knew about. Dysfunctional. The social pathology of Pan-African people, those of us who come across the waters on the boat, we always want a hookup. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Oh, y'all know I'm telling the truth. Help me, sisters. Somebody come through here in a truck with some Louis Vuittons and some Gucci's. You will leave up out of church. You will flock to the truck and you will await your gift. Because we won't hook up. And so our children meander in mediocrity because